GEM International is a new diamond explorer in the richest diamond producing country in Africa, located next to the fourth largest producing diamond mine in the world. International Spotlight is on an 1109 carat diamond recently discovered in Africa by a fellow Canadian junior with a proven operator and finance team. GEM International trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol GI. Visit us at gemdiamondmining.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Harvey Oberfeld. He's a retired television reporter, but still very engaged in political affairs and public policy. Welcome back to the show, Harvey.
Good to talk to you.
And for people who want to know about your opinions, they can check out your blog, Keeping It Real, on harveyoberfeld.ca. Harvey, Christy Clark, the Premier of British Columbia, has tendered her resignation. It becomes official August 4th. And this is a day after she was on a Kamloops radio station saying that she would stay on as leader of Her Majesty's loyal opposition.
Well, let's face it, in politics, whether it's Canadian, international, U.S., provincial, municipal, I think one thing we should learn by now is that what they say at 2 o'clock doesn't necessarily apply at 3 o'clock, and let alone the next day. That's just the way politicians are these days. Sometimes there may be differing events, but usually it's just either they don't know or they don't want to say until they're ready to say it. But I wrote in May, as others did, that, Christie was toast. I mean, that was after the election. Her best before date was May 9th. And clearly with the voters, she went stale just after that. Like a tub of yogurt left out in the sun. And I wrote that there's no way she can hang on, because even though the margin of losing was so slim, the fact was clearly her appeal with the voters was gone, was lost, and was not likely to improve, especially after they did that ridiculous throne speech where they took the NDP platform and put it forward as the new liberal view of life. I mean, then if she wasn't toast before that, she was certainly well burned after that, that's for sure. So I knew she was going to go. A lot of people thought she would go. It's the timing that was surprising, because usually I would have expected her to stay probably around Christmas, announce that, it's been a great year, time to spend time with family, and that allows the party to go into a leadership race in the spring. The fact that she pulled the plug now, that indicates to me that there may be something else going on behind the scenes. Maybe she was getting a few indications that this would not be a comfortable few months. And the knives were already out for her, and she probably thought to herself, what do I need it for? If that's their level of loyalty, I'll just go now and enjoy my life.
Do you think that the insiders were highly critical because of that throne speech and felt if she said that, she'd say anything to anyone just to hang on to power?
Well, that's what it looked like, I think, to most voters. I mean, to say that we can't do this, we can't do that, we don't have the money, and then after the election is so close that they're building a gallows to hang you on, you suddenly discover you've got $2 billion extra dollars, and oh yes, all those things we couldn't do, actually we can. If that would have made her, if there was an instant election, if the lieutenant governor had called an election, I think she would have lost even more. I think that was so disgusted so many people. Now, you talk about insiders. I think people who are true conservatives are true supporters of what the Liberal Party, it was called Liberal, but I thought it was more conservative on fiscal issues than liberal. What they certainly stood for, what they believed in, didn't come close to what was in the throne speech that she introduced after the election when she was trying to save her bacon. So I think a lot of people that believed in the Liberal Party, that supported the Liberal Party, that believed in the principles of what they thought the Liberal Party stood for, I think they were really not happy. And then, of course, in politics, when you have a whole large number of people within your party who are not happy, there will be many people who will be very happy to take advantage of that to try to promote themselves, or they may actually agree with that segment and say, look, we can't tolerate this, she has to go. And with her performance in the May election, I don't think too many people would argue that she had to go.
Perhaps Christie pulled the plug because no more free international junkets, something like $500,000 worth last year.
Well, I don't think she would care about that. I mean, she's probably going to get some sort of corporate job or maybe even an ambassadorship. You never know. But because she is a federal liberal, remember that. Don't ever forget that she is a federal liberal, a supporter of the federal Liberal Party, and they may have a position for her there that you may hear about soon. But even then, in the corporate world, she will still be able to get junkets if she wants, and probably stay in better hotels than she did as premier.
Yes, and I was just thinking, what country features a lot of white wine?
Well, anyone that that she could do that. But and also on those trips, you won't have to answer to reporters or how much did you pay for your glass of juice when she gets back.
We'll have more with Harvey Oberfeld right after the break.
I'm Bill McWilliam, president of Cascadero Copper, CCD on the TSX Venture Exchange. Cesium is one of the world's rarest metals with a growing industrial demand. Drilling is underway on our Tehran property in Argentina to prove up a cesium resource. Cascadero's patent-pending leach process has the potential to make Cascadero the lowest cost supplier of cesium in the world. Visit our website, cascadero.com, or phone us at 604-924-5504.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Harvey Oberfeld. Harvey, do you see anybody lining up for the Liberal leadership race in BC?
Well, it didn't take long. I think the day after she announced she was leaving, Jazz Johal, former colleague of mine, I heard he was actually handing out his bio and pictures and that in case anybody wanted them. Now, I don't think he directly said I'm running, but the timing was interesting if that indeed happened. I think that would have been a very bad move if he was looking at sort of putting himself forward. This guy hasn't served a day in the legislature, and he thinks he's going to, he's going to do the top job, and it reminds you of Donald Trump, but Jazz isn't that bad. But I don't think that was a wise move if he was trying to put himself forward as a possibility. And I think you have to show respect to the leader for a while and give her some time to at least pack up her desk and walk out the building before you start putting yourself forward. But there are some people that do come to mind. As I wrote in my blog, there were three that I immediately thought of. Andrew Wilkinson, who was the advanced education minister for a while. I think he seems to be raising his profile in recent months more than I've ever seen him before, so there may be something there. I think two other people to watch for would be Todd Stone, because he comes from the hinterland, as they say, and I think he's got within the party, I think he's got some support. And the big one is Diane Watts, the former Surrey mayor, who apparently is very, very popular within the party and generally within the people, certainly where she served as mayor in Surrey. Now, whether they can entice her back from her job in Ottawa to come and run here, I don't think that would be that difficult because, Trudeau is actually, I think what the polls would show, doing very well in the public's view. So he's going to be around maybe for another 4, 5, 6, 7 years, 8 years, who knows? And the economy is doing well. So, Diane Watts could be sitting there in Ottawa and thinking, I could be premier maybe within a year. So maybe the time to do it is to go back to BC and not have to maybe have a better political future and not have to face those miserable Ottawa winters for several years, sitting there in oblivion in the House, where she's probably a nobody, really, among the power base of the media who concentrate on Ontario and Quebec. I don't think Diane Watts gets much play there. So she could come back here and be a very big fish in the littler pond that doesn't freeze over in the winter.
And when she was mayor of Surrey and I was a reporter at News 1130, I found her very easy to engage in conversation about any subject that affected her city and the rest of the Lower Mainland. She was not a question dodger at all and seemed to be very effective in getting things done.
Right, she certainly was, and she's very well liked in her writing, and very popular in the party, and very smart, very bright, and very effective in politics. I mean, that's really what you're looking for. Somebody has also mentioned to me, take a look at Kevin Falcon, but I think that would be a terrible mistake. I mean, he really does represent the party of the past, and I think what the Liberals have to do is they have to put forward a new face, a new future. Now, I realize Wilkinson and Stone are serving, but they haven't really been very, very high profile as old-time Liberal, members. I think they could get away with saying they're part of the new movement within the Liberal Party. Wilkinson and Stone, and certainly Diane Watts. I would think Kevin Falcon is out. I think Jazz Johal is a non-starter. So those are the three that I see right now. You never know. Somebody come in from business, but it has to be somebody with a high enough profile, because in the next 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, 18 months, Horgan is going to be certainly keeping his profile right up there before the cameras, and with $2 billion extra to play with, I think he has a pretty good chance of handing out all kinds of goodies and looking pretty good. Unless he screws up something royally, but I think the Liberals realize Horgan's not going anywhere for the next 8 to 10 months anyway.
Petronas pulled their multi-billion-dollar LNG project from BC. Was that a question of low natural gas prices or the prospect of having to work with a hostile NDP Green government?
Yeah, well, that's one of the elements. I wrote a separate blog piece on that, because the spin was that it was just because of low world prices. I don't believe that. I have no doubt in my mind, looking at the timing, yes, there were trouble on the world markets, but there's lots of other countries who are continuing to expand their output. There's lots of other countries who are looking to buy LNG in the long term. And the market is soft right now, and there is a glut, but the United States is increasing its exports. The United States hopes to, I think, by 2020, be one of the world's largest exporters of LNG. There's other countries that are doing it. There's other countries, Lithuania and Croatia and one other are building LNG import plants. The market in Asia is continuing to grow. Japan, China, Russia is increasing its exports there. So, in the long term, the LNG markets will do well. I have no doubt in my mind that Petronas looked at it and thought, there's so many challenges in BC that we don't face elsewhere, so many rules, so many regulations, so many conditions, and now we have a government that is supported by many of its supporters are antagonistic towards us. We could take our billions elsewhere and just go spend it elsewhere. And I think that's what they decided to do. It wasn't the only decision, but it wasn't only the only thing they used to decide, but it certainly, I believe, was part of the decision.
Coming up with Harvey, pulling the plug on your local community cable station.
I'm Larry Ray, President and CEO of American Manganese, Inc., listed on the TSX Venture, ticker symbol AMY, A-M-Y, with proprietary patents in the U.S., China, and South Africa. Our focus is on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. China recently legislated the responsibility for recycling onto their electric vehicle manufacturers and importers. For more information, please visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
In Goddard we trust.
Welcome back. We're chatting with Harvey Oberfeld. Harvey, the CRTC is going to allow Chorus Shaw to close down their community cable stations in Edmonton, Calgary, and Vancouver. The reason being, Shaw says, well, we could use some money to improve our local news coverage. Is that one of the most bogus excuses you've ever heard?
Well, I think so. I can't, the CRTC never fails to dismay me with its decisions. It's set up for the public good, but it seems to operate more and more for the corporate good. And I understand the pressures on companies and corporations in the media. I know when, you have shareholders. I'm a shareholder in many, many stocks myself. But, it's not just like mining gold or mining oil or producing trinkets or widgets in a factory. When you get the Canadian airwaves as your marketing ground, and you have responsibilities that go beyond just taking national marketing programs and U.S. programs and pushing them through to your cable and milking in the billions. I mean, there are public responsibilities, and the cable companies have in the past provided community stations that provide the type of programming that, frankly, I wouldn't often watch, but occasionally there is something I'm interested in, something happening at City Hall, a discussion on politics that goes beyond 30 seconds, community events, things going on. There's all kinds of programming that goes on community television. That's exactly what public access television should be. And the CRTC has bought the corporate boo-hoo. We need more money to do local news. And they're going to take, in Chorus's case, they said they'd take $10 million and put it into enhancing their local TV here and covering City Hall better. I don't buy it. As I said in my piece, it wouldn't surprise me to learn that the Chorus and Shaw executives, management types, are already trying to figure out how they can divert some of that money or not do what they're supposed to do with it and just keep it in the bank account or use it for general purposes at their station. $10 million improvement on local coverage of City Hall and other local issues. I'll believe it when I see it. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm very cynical about this. And I think it's going to be a disaster, a real tragedy when Shaw Cable 4 goes off the air on around August 15th. Lots of people that depend on that for what's going on at City Hall. We can't go to City Hall meetings. People work, People want to see what's going on at City Hall with issues. You can't depend on what goes on the news. They give it a minute 45. And that's the story, and they're not going to put on everything that's going on at City Hall. But if you watch the City Council meeting, not only for Vancouver, but you should be able to watch Burnaby and Surrey. And it really doesn't take that much to do. A lot of times you're dealing with a very easy setup camera. The lighting is there, quite often put in for you, or you can put it in once and it's there for years. It's not a very expensive operation. And then now it's all going to be lost, replaced by so-called improved news coverage. I don't buy it. And I'm shocked that the CRTC bought it, and I'm dismayed that our Canadian political parties and all our BC MPs, none of whom have I seen saying anything about this shameful decision by the CRTC.
Shaw Chorus made $147 million last quarter. They don't sound broke.
That's right. Now their revenues, if I read correctly, the revenues have been steady, have been good. Their dividends are down 2 cents or something to about 30 or something like that. They're still making money hand over fist. I mean, these companies are, and just remember, whatever they report is after they've written off everything they possibly can. So, and they probably have better accountants than I do. So, they are making money. And they keep watering down the product. They keep making the product worse. I mean, you watch the local news programs now, and unless it's given to them on a platter, something like, forest fires, accidents, shootings, public press conferences, races, festivals, pet stories, anything like that. But if there's anything that takes detailed research, real investigative stuff, even asking tough questions, it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And now, all of a sudden, they're going to have a new life and start finding that. Who's going to even ask those questions? Who's going to do the research? Are they going to go on a massive hiring spree? Because if they're going to depend on the people they have doing it there now, oh, God, we're in for trouble.
Well, Global's weekend new weatherman, I'm keep waiting for his voice to change.
I don't know much about that.
Well, it's just they seem so young and inexperienced that sometimes it looks more like a high school local inside cable news network than.
Oh, I don't know.
Somebody.
There's nothing wrong with hiring younger people and giving them a break in that if they're true journalists, if they have education, they know about politics, they know about history, if they know about news, then that's fine. But if they're hiring people who just look good to stand in front of a camera and work cheap because they're young or something like that, then that's dismal. And the focus has to be on reporting more than fires and weather stories and that kind of stuff that doesn't require intellectual activity before you go on air.
The last real investigative thing I saw on Global, and it was very good, about how some developers were let off on development fees to the city and how social housing took a hit because of that. I thought that was a very good investigative piece, but that was several months ago.
Who did it?
I'm one of their young female reporters who I think might have some knowledge of the real estate market.
Well, we need a lot more like that. That would be great if they did a lot more like that. Maybe they'll take the $10 million and spend it on really, really improving things. But even then, there will be a gap. They can't possibly cover in a 1-hour show, unless they're going to have several more news shows. They can't possibly cover the type of programming that Shaw Cable covered all day. Voice of BC, long interviews with people on issues, a voice for people in communities that don't normally get covered, people who are marginalized. Where's that going to go? And even on Saturday, I watched the Vancouver Canadians baseball game. A terrific baseball game, better than the Blue Jays. And what about hockey? Local hockey or minor hockey. All that's just going to be what? Where's it going to go? So it's dreadful. I think it's a dreadful decision by the CRTC, and the fact that no BC MPs or anybody are standing up against it is even more shameful.
I enjoyed the high school football championships on cable.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I mean, there's just all kinds of things on there that it's going to be a sad loss.
Harvey, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
My guest has been Harvey Oberfeld, his blog Keeping It Real on his website, harveyoberfeld.ca. You're listening to the Goddard Report. If you have any questions for the show or our guests, you can email us at info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.